facing the crisis.
You just have to remember that at one point these people were walking, talking, spending time with families, and now they're gone.
An Irving resident mourning the loss of her mom is motivated to make people take COVID more seriously. See the impactful display you can visit. State of the City.
It's been an interesting year. There's been a lot of challenges.
We have highlights from the mayor's annual address, plus the progress on Fire Station 4 and the crime you may not have thought about that is frustrating vehicle owners. Now on City Source. Hello and welcome to City Source. I'm Thomas Gandy. We begin today with an update on COVID-19. Here is some of the latest information we have as of production time. Dallas County Health and Human Services reports that a variation of COVID-19 described as more than 50% more contagious is present in the county. While more easily spread, it is not believed to cause more severe symptoms. Registration for the COVID-19 vaccine is available for those people in the first groups. The website to register is dallascounty.org/COVID-19. That site also has answers to a lot of common questions. If you prefer to call, the phone number is 469-749-9900. The Texas Division of Emergency Management opened a COVID therapeutic infusion center in Irving. The center will offer Regeneron's monoclonal antibodies and other treatments by doctor or hospital referral only. Amid all of those headlines about the science, the vaccine, and even the politics, one Irving resident wants to make sure no one forgets the people. She has come up with a special way to remember virus victims. Her mom is one of them. Here is our story on the Yellow Heart Memorial.
More than 4,000 deaths in one day.
The numbers can be numbing.
And confirmed cases surged past 80 million.
The death toll from COVID-19 rises by the thousands every day.
Doctors are worried about a surge on top of a surge.
We have to humanize numbers.
That's why Irving resident Rosie Davis wanted to develop this Yellow Heart Memorial in Irving. It is now on display in the Jack D. Huffman Community Building.
I lost my mom. You know, she wasn't a number. She was my mother. She was a grandmother, a great-grandmother. These people mattered.
In mourning her mom, she also found motivation to become an advocate. She connected with the Facebook group marked by COVID after seeing its leader on a news report.
They helped me elevate my mom's story. That alone has really helped me move forward, just keeping my mom's memory alive.
That led to this idea for a memorial.
When I approached the city of Irving, Parks and Recreation, Scott Crosno, he was just blown away by my story. And he said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I can to help you.
We were all moved to try and help her put this together, and I think it's something great for Irving to do for the whole community.
It was just a perfect fit because we have this big lobby. It's easy to socially distance. We were just really pleased that we were able to be a part of this.
Every drawing posted here represents a victim.
She was 13, so that gets us.
The art is the product of 16-year-old Hannah Ernst of New Jersey.
This all started with her grandfather. He was the very first drawing. His name is Cal.
She lost her grandfather to COVID May 8th, and shortly after that, she started drawing pictures.
People can also submit a victim's name online or add it themselves on a yellow heart that Rosie will add to the wall.
You know, you can't let them fall into statistics.
She is finding comfort in her marked by COVID community, uniting in grief and advocacy.
We all talk all the time. We have Zoom calls, and we try to bring causes together to bring awareness, tell our stories so that other people don't have to suffer like we have.
There's more fallout than just burying your loved ones. We are all in the middle of probate, dealing with family who still doesn't believe in COVID or who're still gathering. And we all get frustrated, and that's a place for us to vent and talk.
But one of the most important things you can do is what these women have already done. Started to build a community where they can talk about their loved ones and feel like they're doing some kind of action towards it.
They came together for a virtual memorial service streamed online.
The reason that I reached out and I found my community is because I felt alone when my mom died. I didn't know where to turn. No one around me had been through a COVID death, and it was different.
Our parents were titans. They were amazing people, and it shows in each one of us because we all have this urge to build this community for everybody else to be a part of.
An angel said my place was ready.
The Interfaith Alliance of Irving also hosted a prayer service for the departed, led by reps from different faith groups. And this Yellow Heart Memorial will stay up longer than first planned. The response has been huge.
And we've already mapped out where we can expand the heart wall to another wall in this space so that we can keep adding hearts.
It's really beautiful, but it's also really sad because, these are our dads, our moms, our aunts, our uncles, our brothers, our sisters.
I don't want my mom's death to be in vain, and all 360 plus thousand people deserve to be remembered.
Rosie Davis is also looking ahead. She says she is ready to be a national advocate on COVID issues.
If I can use my voice and a platform to bring awareness, then I'm going to do it. We're not done. We just started.
Because they know the numbers on the news.
The virus claimed 4,000 American lives on Thursday.
Are only part of the story. The Yellow Heart Memorial is open weekdays from 10 until 4 at the Jack D. Huffman Community Building. Enter through the doors facing Rock Island Road. If you want one of your friends or relatives added to that memorial, you can look for the link at faithandgrief.org/yellowheartmemorial. Also, you can reach out to the artist who created those face drawings through Facebook at COVID Faces. The young artist from New Jersey posted that she has gotten a lot of requests since this memorial opened in Irving, and she will work to get to all of them over time. COVID-19 was the dominant topic at this year's virtual State of the City event produced on location at Irving's new Levy Event Plaza. The theme was Together Today for a Stronger Tomorrow.
We are so fortunate to have everybody come together, and I think because of that, we're going to be stronger in the future. We're going to be able to deal with these issues, whatever comes our way. I think when you deal with an issue like this at this level, as the smaller things start to come to us in the future, we'll be able to deal with them even better.
The mayor talked about the many ways the city responded to the virus, including adjusting the budget, activating the Emergency Operations Center, and transitioning meetings and activities to virtual events. The mayor also provided an update on many of the major projects in the city, and they are all moving forward.
We did not stop our operations. We had money that was available for our bonds and improvements such as this park, and we continued to do that. We continued to use those dollars and move forward. And we have to provide water. We have to make sure that sewer is available. And we have challenges, and we have bonds that are out there to move and put new water lines in, to put new sewer lines in, and things of that nature. So we continued to do those things. One of the things that was interesting is because a lot of the cities that shut down their ability to go out and do work, people were doing their work for less. So we saw sewer projects that we projected to be $5-6 million come in at $3 and $4 million. So actually we were keeping people busy, and we were saving money.
The Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce hosted the event, and ICTN produced the program. If you missed it, we will post it on youtube.com/the City of Irving on January 26th. One of those big projects that is just about complete is the new Fire Station 4 located at Toller Lane and Metker Street. It will replace the current Station 4, which is from 1960 and cannot accommodate modern fire equipment because it's just too small.
That's one thing we're excited about. We're able to move that fire station into current times where we can use apparatus that all the other fire stations are using. That's one thing. The community's been wanting this station for years.
The new station will also have added equipment to extract carcinogens from firefighters' bunker gear when they return from a fire. Chief Conley says Fire Station 4 is expected to open in March. Now to police news. Officers are seeing a rise in a type of crime that could victimize anyone who owns a vehicle. Earlier, I spoke to Irving Police Officer Robert Reeves about this trend. Always keeping an eye out for crime, and the latest trend involves catalytic converters. Tell me about that.
So we do have, that is on an increase. That is a trend that is occurring right now. We've seen the third row seats being stolen before. We've seen wheels being stolen off a vehicle. Now the catalytic converter is the main thing that is being stolen off vehicles here in Irving right now. It's a very quick time. Doesn't take that much time to actually steal the catalytic converter. Someone's able to get up underneath your car, use one of those cordless saws, and cut it off very quickly. And so it's a very hard crime to catch in the progress of, but it is something that is occurring, and we encourage people to call in when they see someone that's suspicious.
And with a crime like this, what can people do to protect themselves and their property?
Park in certain areas that are well lit. Be aware of where you're parking, where your car is at. It's a hard one to prevent because your car is locked. You didn't leave your keys in it, so it's not getting stolen. No one's able to just open up the door and get in, which we've seen a lot of problems with when we talk to a burglar of a motor vehicle. But this one is just someone having the opportunity to get underneath your vehicle. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of preventative measures that you can do to prevent it.
And what are the bad guys doing with these catalytic converters once they take them?
They're breaking them down for parts. They have parts inside of them that they're able to take to scrap yards. They're able to sell them. They're selling them on social sites to people that might have already gotten theirs stolen. They're now offering them a catalytic converter to buy. So, there's constant things of how it's being turned around and being flipped and used and how they're making a profit off of it.
We have a lot more police news on our YouTube channel. Look for the Irving Police Department playlist at youtube.com/the City of Irving. Residents interested in becoming a candidate for City Council can pick up a packet at City Hall or access those packets online at cityofirving.org/162. Here are the seats on the ballot this year. Places 4 and 6 are single-member districts. Candidates must have lived in their respective district for at least 12 months prior to Election Day. Place 8 is an at-large position, and candidates may reside anywhere within the city. Here are the dates to keep in mind. The filing period continues through February 12th. Early voting runs April 19th through the 27th. Election Day is May 1st. The City Secretary's office can answer election questions. That number is 972-721-2493. Over the next few weeks here on City Source, we're going to be talking about how some local nonprofits are faring during this ongoing pandemic. Today, we start with the Irving Schools Foundation. Crystal Scanio is president and CEO of that organization. Crystal, glad to have you back with us.
Thanks for having me, Thomas.
And of course, you were here in the early weeks of the pandemic talking about how your organization was working to get food to students. How has that response evolved now that we're approaching a year into the pandemic?
I got the best quote from one of my donors early on, and I feel like I repeat to myself daily. It's a marathon, not a sprint. When it first hit, we were scrambling to see what we could do to help our kids out. And that donor told me that, and it was just such an eye-opening statement because it's been a marathon. We just have to every week continue with the mission of serving these children and feeding them every week.
And part of that evolution in the response involves now home delivery, correct? Tell me how that's working.
This has been a beautiful partnership with the school district. We were having issues. So prior to COVID, we were serving about 1,300 to 1,400 students every week. When COVID hit, when it first hit, we jumped to 5,000 students a week. It was an incredible jump. And then with students not having transportation, with our bus systems not working, more students not coming to school, we've now dropped to about 1,100 kids per week. And we think that drop is primarily because they can't get to us. So I was talking to our superintendent, who's amazing, and told her the issue. And she said, well, why don't you give it to our counselors who are doing home visits, and they'll take the bags of food to the kids and the families. So we just started this month, and we served 150 students last week with bags of food and gift cards. And the stories I got back from that were just incredible. Parents crying, students being so happy. It was like Christmas opening up those bags of food. Many of the counselors have shared that they've looked in the cupboards in the kitchen and they're empty. So to have that to be able to give to those families is incredible during such a stressful time.
And let's talk more about that. What are some of those stories you are hearing from parents and students as they deal with the ongoing health and economic impacts of this pandemic?
Our students are scared, and rightfully so. This is something that you can't prepare a child for, right? You can't tell a child that this might happen. Everything's going to shut down. Mom and dad might lose their jobs. Families are going to pass away. Family members will pass away. So we've been hearing stories from students of just appreciation to the community. And I have a great one that we received from a fifth grader. And it talks about how the food has had such a big impact on her family. And she shares it removes the stress from her mom about groceries. And she said, if we didn't have these grocery bags, we would be starving or worse. And it just makes you think, a child, a fifth grader, to understand that concept. And she ends her story with, if she could, and if they didn't have these food bags they'd be receiving, she would try to get a job. A fifth grader would try to get a job to help her mom. And it's heart-wrenching. But again, the community has stepped up and we're meeting this need.
Those letters and words that you get from people have got to touch everyone. And of course, it won't be long before we start talking about spring break. And I think for everyone, it is a lot less about vacations and celebrations this year. When schools are closed for breaks, what kind of challenges does that present in making sure students are fed?
It's the feeding and the social and emotional issues that we know that we're going to start facing, and we are already facing. A lot of these kids, school is their escape. Maybe they have a really bad home life and they get to go to school and see friends and have a great time and have food. And then the spring break, like you said, is usually a break from that, and they get to have some fun and play with their friends. Of course, right now they can't have any of that. Our biggest concern with the Irving Schools Foundation is just that week of them being gone without having the breakfast and lunch that's provided from the school. And how do we get all this food out to them? So we're going to continue what we did back when COVID first hit and do drive-through scenarios, because that's been our best effort to be able to reach the most kids. And then we'll definitely continue the counselor home visits. And we need, the need is going to continue to grow. Like I said, when we did the home visits, we did the drive-throughs, we spiked to 5,000 kids. So we definitely need the community to help us meet that need.
So these initiatives we've been talking about fall under the Food for Thought program, but we know food is not the only need. What are you hearing about clothing?
A great question. We've had so many counselors come to us. And again, our counselors are our lifeline to the students. Our counselors in Irving ISD are angels on earth. They are incredible human beings that know these kids. They are able to identify needs that you can't really see sometimes. And sometimes they're the needs that you can see. And we're getting lots of emails from them saying, the kids that are showing up in person are coming without coats, and we know it's been very cold outside. They're not wearing proper shoes. A lot of kids are coming with the same uniform they've been wearing all week long that's still dirty. So they're asking us for support with that. We've had a lot of young kiddos having a lot of potty accidents. So they're asking for underwear. And it's something to give a child a gift. And I know it doesn't fix the situation, but maybe it'll make them feel a little bit better about themselves on the outside when they're going through this very unknown scenario of dealing with a pandemic and virtual learning and all the other challenges that they're facing right now as children.
You've mentioned how the community has shown support. For people who still want to help, what is the best way to reach out?
We definitely need the help. We're here. We've got the man and the woman power, the amazing volunteers, but we need the funds. We need to be able to continue this process because we've seen the success. We've seen the difference that this bag of food is making in these child's lives. So they can visit our website, irvingschoolsfoundation.org, and learn more about Food for Thought program. They can definitely make a donation on our webpage. They can also donate to our clothing programs. So we have the ability for them to donate toward clothes, uniforms, socks, underwear, coats, whatever they want to provide funding for. We definitely need the help.
All right, Crystal Scagno, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
In other news today, the city of Irving is committing to doubling the use of renewable energy to a full 100% by 2023. In 2019, the city moved to 50% wind-generated power. The latest announcement is getting attention from the Environmental Protection Agency. It elevated Irving's standing in the Green Power Partnership. The city already ranked in the EPA list of top 30 local governments using green sources of power. And now it's time for our Pets of the Week. So let's get a virtual visit to the Animal Care Campus. Michael Whiteside is with the DFW Humane Society, and he joins us now. And Michael, I understand this is a good time to adopt a big dog, right?
Yeah, that's right. We have a lot of big dogs available right now. Not so many small dogs, although a few come in here and there. But we do have quite a few big dogs right now. And of course, cats and kittens are available as well. Big dogs mean a lot of big love, and we have plenty to choose from here.
And the first one you have to talk about is Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin is about 1.5 years old, and he's a boxer mix.
Franklin, what is it?
He is definitely a people pleaser. He loves to be around people. He loves to do whatever you ask him to do. He is a big slobber guy, but he is so sweet and so friendly. He's just going to be a great companion because he just loves people so much.
And next up, we have Rocco.
Rocco is about 9 months old, so he's still very much a puppy. But he loves toys. He loves to run around in the yard and play. He's really active and playful, but he also is very mild-mannered too. So he's going to be great for anyone that has a yard or that likes to go on walks or runs to kind of use up some of that energy and just kind of keep him active and engaged.
Some great big dogs to talk about. And earlier in the show, you heard us talking about how this pandemic is affecting nonprofits. And I know you've seen the impact. In one way is in the way you train volunteers. You still need volunteers, but that training has changed up a little bit, right?
Yeah, we are still having volunteers come in, but we are doing all of our initial orientation online through a Zoom meeting. When the pandemic first started, we kind of suspended all volunteer activities. And then last summer, we started bringing them back in slowly in shifts so that we can still keep people separated. We still want volunteers. You can still register on our website. Once you've registered, you'll get a link that will give you the details for the next online orientation. Once you've completed that online orientation, you'll have an opportunity to sign up to come in for some hands-on one-on-one pet handling training with one of our existing volunteers. So it's definitely still a need that our pets need to meet new people and get some interaction with new people, and it's just a great opportunity if you have some extra time to be able to go through and come meet some of the pets and hang out with them and give them some attention.
All right, Michael, so many important ways to help, either by volunteering or adopting one of those big dogs or cats you talked about. Thanks so much, Michael, for being with us today.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it.
And the best way to adopt right now is to call the Animal Care Campus and make arrangements to meet. DFW Humane Society's number is 972-721-7788. For Irving Animal Services, call 972-721-2256. Also, check out the websites you see on your screen. Here's a look at what's coming up next time on City Source. The city has an initiative underway to improve drainage. You're looking at some of the work underway on the Brock Bank Channel, and we'll talk about the full campaign called Drainage Solutions for a Better Tomorrow. And we'll continue our look at how the pandemic is affecting nonprofits by checking in with our friends at Canine Companions for Independence. Too bad I don't get to visit in person this time because I love visiting that place. Remember, you can always email us your thoughts on our stories. The address is ictn@cityofirving.org. And find us on YouTube. Our channel is at youtube.com/thecityofirving. Subscribe and you can get notifications when we upload new videos. That's it for this edition of City Source. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.